far as I'm concerned, it's the happiest place on the universe. None of the places you hear about are the happiest place that you hear advertised a lot, but this is Palm Beach. And I wake up every day and I say, oh my gosh, I love where I live. I love my neighborhood. I love my neighbors. I love the businesses. I love the hotels. I love the restaurants. This is Doug Evans, President and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. This is the podcast, Your Palm Beach Guide. And when I talk about what I love in this area, in this town, it's the arts. And when I say that, I've got an arts background. I'm a classically trained opera singer. I play the piano. I'm trying to play the piano more. But I discovered through a connection of mine this incredible, and when I say incredible, I'm not saying it's just to be nice. I was blown away by this place that I've been driving by for years, and it's the creation of a woman named Joanne Berkow. Joanne Berkow just really had a vision for this organization, and it's called the Benzaiten Center. And I'm like, what does that mean? So Joanne's here with me today. Joanne, thank you for joining us on this podcast, the Pop Populi Studios. I love what you do, and I want to hear all about you. And this place is basically a glass-blowing, artistic place that just exists that is shockingly amazing. So Joanne, welcome. And I'm so glad you're here. You're a Chamber of Commerce member. You're a trustee. You started this nonprofit organization. Is that what have you always done the nonprofits? I mean, before we get into what we're talking about to the Benzaiten Center, is this what you've always done? What's your background a little bit here? I'm just kind of curious.
It is sort of what I've always done. I've always been an artist from a child on, but instead of just being occupied and interested in selling my own work, I've always been interested in helping other artists and promoting other artists.
And what was your own work?
Well, I'm primarily known for my super realistic scenes of Europe, painting.
Ooh.
Okay, but I miss doing the female figure, which was my first love.
Okay.
But landscapes were selling at the time. So I did that for like 3 decades.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I missed doing the figures. So about 25 years ago, I started sculpting the female figure, thinking I could do both.
Sure.
Okay. And I found there were no foundries located on the east coast of Florida that were open to taking outside artists' work.
Oh.
And so we on the east coast of Florida had to ship our things or take our things somewhere else to get them cast. I went to Sarasota.
Okay, which is not close by the way.
No, it was a 3-hour drive over and a 3-hour drive back to take my things over there and then come back. So it was a hardship, and I knew other artists, very well-known artists, that actually shipped their maquettes. How they did this, I don't know, in clay, to Colorado, or sometimes they use Mexico or even Taiwan or China. So it's a hardship, and that's what actually led me to start Benzaiten. And Benzaiten, just to let you know, is the goddess of all things flowing. Okay, she started out as a Chinese goddess, but then was adapted by the Japanese.
Okay.
Okay, and she's a goddess of the river, goddess of the children, goddess of love, and goddess of all things flowing. So we have hot glass right now, and so that's flowing. And eventually we're going to have a small foundry, so that's going to be bronze or metals that are flowing around. So I thought it was very apt name. Plus, I liked her as a female goddess because she wound up marrying a dragon, tamed it, and then rode around on it. So she's my kind of woman.
As only a woman could do. She married a dragon and tamed it and rode around. I didn't. I got to tell you, Joanne, I'm a fan of yours, and I'm not saying to be nice. I walked in this place and I was blown away. And when I heard the name Benzaiten, I thought, I don't know who Mr. and Mrs. Benzaiten is, but I'm so glad they gave the money to do this. Well, now I learned when I got there that this was a goddess. And you chose the name and you found this place. So the Benzaiten Center, as we'll call it, your baby, you found this. Tell us, when you decided to do this, did you find the building first to get the vision, or you said, I'm going to do this, and you had to find a location? And this location to me is so unique, and it's got a real historical perspective to it. So tell us about the facility, and did your vision come first and you found a building, or you found a building and then the vision?
Well, it's an interesting story. I had the vision first. I had my mind kind of set on doing it in Northwood and West Palm Beach.
Sure, which is a hot and happening area, especially now. But that's also evolving. It's not going to be so artsy anymore.
Well, this is part of it, and I found a couple of acres. We were going to purchase the acreage. It was on right next to a train track on a brownfield area. It was not the most optimum land.
No.
And we were willing to buy it at pretty much
a brownfield. You would buy that and build on it.
Yeah,
that's wild. That's
yeah,
wild.
I know, and we were willing to do all that, but the city made it impossible.
Oh,
I hate to say that.
Oops.
But things happen for a reason. I'm a super believer in that, and so when I failed at all this. Because I'm an artist, I don't know how to deal with all this. The commissioners did want it. The mayor wanted it. Everybody wanted it.
Except who?
The head of the CRA.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
There you have it.
So anyway, then the person that was helping me, because I knew nothing also about nonprofits, so I hired someone to help me put all that together. She said, in Lake Worth, they have a building. You might want to look at it. And so I went down, I looked at this building. The minute I walked into it, it was like the sky opened, the rays came down, and it was like this.
The music starts, the orchestra.
The music started, and I said, this is perfect. Now, the other great advantage is we are literally 1 minute from I-95 versus being in Northwood.
Which is, that's not close to 95.
And we get a lot of people from Boca that would have never come to us in Northwood. So everything happens for the best. I'm a big believer in that. And the funny story is that this was a building that had been gifted to the city of Lake Worth. It was a historic FEC train depot building.
FEC?
Yes. Train depot building.
All right.
Now, being that it was a depot building, that means there was a railroad spur on one side and trucks leaving from the other side. So there were just 8 bay doors on both sides of this building.
Was this for luggage or what was this for? Produce? What was it for? Stuff?
It belonged to a beer company at one point.
Oh.
It was just bringing things in on the train and trucking them out.
Okay.
And that's what it was used for. Now, if you know anything about glass blowing, most hot shops have to put a very elaborate, expensive heat capturing unit in their building. We didn't have to do that. All we had to do is raise the bay doors.
That's why they're open when you're there. When they're not the kilns. What are they called? They're not the kilns for glass blowing, are they?
They're the glory holes.
Okay. So and they're generating all this heat.
Yes.
And so when I walk in there, as I've been many times, the doors are open. So that explains why the doors are open. Okay, got it.
Right. And the other lucky serendipitous thing was that during COVID, we were one of the few places that people felt comfortable coming to, and we really didn't stop operations.
Fresh air. Oh, my gosh.
That's right. Open air.
So you bought the building? You leased the building?
Okay, so what we did is we've leased the building for 20 years at $1 a year.
Okay.
And, this is the funny part, is that this building had been left derelict for about 5 years. Nobody had done anything. They were filming zombie pictures inside the building. This gives you a good idea of how bad it was.
You just made our engineer, Andrew, laugh because zombie pictures. So I love that. Andrew, you'll remember that now out of all the podcasts, zombie pictures.
Yeah. And so we had to replace every window. There's 640 windows. That alone cost $64,000.
Wow.
So there was a lot of work that went into it, but the really funny part is my taking my board of directors to see this building for the first time. They thought I had gone insane, literally insane. You've lost it, Joanne. This is not going to happen.
Full of pigeon and all kinds of terrible things, I'm assuming. Yeah.
But I could see the vision, and it did turn out perfect, and we're very fortunate to have found this place.
So were you doing this kind of work in another location, or this was the genesis, this was the start? Once you got in that building, you said, this is it?
Well, originally I wanted to do all three, stone, metal, and glass, under one roof. However, we started with glass because glass is very sexy. Everybody's interested in it. You know, they want to collect it. And we thought this would be a good way to start. Plus, we had a lead on a creative director that could help us get started with the glass.
Okay.
And we're glad we started this way. We're eventually going to have a small foundry. We're almost there. And we're going to have stone carving on the west side of the building where I've created a space that's going to be a working sculpture garden.
No kidding.
Yeah.
My mind just, because you're an entrepreneur, clearly an artist, but also an entrepreneur and a businesswoman. I mean, you don't give yourself credit for that. You got other people to help you, but I see what you're running here now, and it blows my mind. So you've got these assets of glass, soon stone carving. And when I hear this, it's like the more we get the word out about Benzaiten Center, these builders, these people building houses and buildings, the more they know about this.
They need large sculptures.
And they're going to race to you to do this, which employs artists. So, and so are you concerned? You say you've got the building leased for 20 years for $1. Are you worried about that lease running out? Do you have a right to renew, or how does that work?
Yeah, I have a right to renew, but they're not going to want to get rid of us because we are really becoming a major tourist attraction.
How many years less on the original lease?
Well, we're going into our 9th year.
Oh, so you got 11 years to worry about that. Okay.
Yes.
If you just are wondering who you're listening to, it's Doug Evans, President and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. I'm here with a chamber member, Joanne Berkow, who is the founder, the creator, the goddess of creation of the Benzaiten Center. She's a member of the chamber. She's also a trustee at the chamber. And I was introduced to Joanne several months ago, and I went to the Benzaiten Center, which is in Lake Worth, Florida, which is right here in the Palm Beaches. It's easy. And it's in a neighborhood. You go through houses and beautiful homes and things, and you pull into this industrial area, like there's about 50 feet of industrial to the train tracks, and there's this parking lot, and you walk up this ramp, and you see glass, and you see studios, and you see classrooms. As you walk past these wonderful heated machines where they blow glass, you walk into this display room and a gift shop, which I fell in love with. You know that, and I'll tell people why a little bit. And then you walk into where they have all this beautiful glass for sale. You have a chihuly there. You did have a chihuly there.
We did, but it made me so nervous because we bring in a lot of kids over the summer.
So it went.
So before the summer, I said to the dealer, "You have to get this out of here." Take it back.
I agree with you. And Joanne, you don't know this. Maybe I mentioned it. I fell in love with glass because about 1,000 years ago, you and I've had careers for a while. I was building a new performing arts center, and somebody decided to gift us a chihuly chandelier as opposed to money. They gave us, and I'm like, "What do I do with this?" Because I wasn't sure what it was, quite honestly. I'd heard of Chihuly, but I didn't know for sure. So I went out to Seattle with Chihuly and saw this stuff. I'm like, really? And it's glorious. And that's when I'm like, this is glass. And then I saw the Chihuly bowls, which I saw at the Benzaiten Center. And they're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Big money, but they're glorious. And what I think is fascinating about this is the work that your artists are doing at Benzaiten Center looks like Chihuly. It's gorgeous work. And you have a creative director who teaches, or how does this work?
Yeah, our new creative director, he came on board as creative director 3 years ago. His name is Eli Cecil. He's an amazing, gifted artist. We paid to send him through Leadership Palm Beach.
Great.
Because he's a young man, and he is really taking hold.
Hopefully he's found a home here then when we decide not to run away.
No,
it's hard to find good artists.
I know, and the young people like to wander about, but he's found his home.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
And we're very lucky.
And is he a teacher, or what's his role there at the center? He's a creative director, but is he hands-on teaching, or how does that work with him as creative director? And then I know you can take classes there, but you can also see the artists creating there. So tell us about the opportunities for participation with the Benzaiten Center.
Well, just to get back to Eli, he organizes the schedule for the year along with me. We work on which visiting artists we're bringing in each year. We bring in 4 visiting artists from all over the globe. And then we have a fun South Florida showdown that we do in December with the South Florida studio artists from various places around South Florida. And they come in and perform at Benzaiten. They do their own piece first. It's kind of like a mini Blown Away, the Netflix series.
Sure.
Okay, they do their own piece first, and then they collaborate on one big piece. But we're bringing in this year 3 Murano artists. And you talk about chandeliers. We're bringing in the master Murano chandelier maker in the world right now.
When is it he? When is he coming in?
Fabiano. Yeah, Zanchi.
No.
Yeah, and he's coming in April, but in January we have Davide Salvadore coming in with his son Marco, who's also a fabulous artist, but Davide doesn't speak any English, so his son is going to act as the interpreter and helper.
Great.
And he's probably, along with Lino, the 2 most famous living blowing artists today.
So where's Davide?
Davide Salvadore.
Where's he from?
He's from Murano.
Okay, so he's Murano. So 2 Muranos in a row.
Well, 2 Muranos in January and 1 Murano in April, the chandelier maker.
You know, I'm hoping to listeners to this podcast will hear about this, especially if they want to see this Murano. I've been to Murano Island. I've been to Venice, and I've done all that kind of stuff. It's gorgeous. But to be able to see this recreated here for a builder or a designer or a home, I mean, I'm all about hopefully driving the bottom line for you to get more funding, because this is a nonprofit organization.
That's right.
And you're employing people, you're creating livelihoods here, and you got bills to pay.
Yes.
And for them to meet these Murano artists, to maybe have something created in your studios for their homes, I just have this, like, I've got to get this word out even more, which, you know, I have our breakfast every month. I talk about the Benzaiten, and of course we've got our cultural card coming out here. But it's something that if we can get people to come to Benzaiten Center to see this, especially those 2, that's incredible. So they're going to come in.
Okay, so I just want to say that if you've been to Murano or seen glass blowing demonstrated on a cruise ship, what we do is completely different. It is extremely muscular. First of all, they do a demonstration for 3 hours.
Wow.
Okay, we call it the Artist Blowout. It happens on a Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30. And the reason we call it from 6:30 to 9:30 is because of the traffic.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so we do everything
sense.
start everything at 6:30 so you can get there without being too stressed out, you know, if you're coming from the north. And they work with a team of people of maybe 5 or 6 other artists, and they're doing this fiery dance, and you just cannot understand why they don't run into each other, burn each other, but somehow it all happens, and this goes on for 3 hours, and they make something big. They don't make a little tchotchke, you know, little horse or something.
Right.
You know, this is a big deal demonstration.
And where's that piece that they create go? Does it goes into your shop, your gift shop for sale?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. And when we do these blowouts, we always have live music.
Great.
You get 2 drink tickets.
Okay.
And you get nibbles. And it used to be $15 a person, but we felt we had to raise it to $20 this year.
I think that's totally fair, quite honestly, for a 3-hour evening of something really more than entertaining. That's just like you don't see anywhere else. There's nobody else doing this around here. It's just not happening. I've been in the arts economy for a long, long time. I don't know in my travels any place else, Joanne, who's doing this. I can't think of a location, and I've been around. I mean, I'm not talking about South Florida. I'm talking about nationally. So I can't think there's a lot of places that do what you do. Is that correct?
Well, the Cornell Glass Museum does it. They don't have a setup quite like ours. I kind of like our setup better because we're on the same floor as the glass blowers. A lot of these places have it's like mezzanine seating.
It's theater seating.
And you're really, in my opinion, too far away from the action.
Oh, you're on the ground here with these folks.
You're right next to it. And of course, this has been my vision, and I had to really talk my board into it because, they're, nervous Nellies. Okay, somebody's going to get hurt.
Somebody's going to get burnt, yeah.
Yeah, we've been in existence for 9 years. Nobody's gotten burnt, and we have watchers that make sure everybody stays behind the line. But when you're in Benzaiten, you feel the heat. You feel the action.
Yes,
you're
you do.
Up close and personal.
Well, now that the weather's getting a little bit cooler, it might be a welcome warmth addition kind of
yes.
thing. So for the future, talking stone cutting. Now, if they want to come to this, the blowout, it's $20. You offer classes?
Yes, we offer classes in glass blowing, in flame working, in fusing and slumping, which some of your listeners might not know what fusing and slumping is.
Well, I don't, so there's number one right here.
Well, that's a good thing for anybody to start with. It doesn't take years of experience to get good at it. You cut glass up, cold glass. You're not working with the heat, and you cut it in shapes, and you use stringers, and you use frit, and you combine it all on a clear pane of glass, whatever your design is. Then you put it in the kiln, and it fuses to the plain, clear pane of glass.
Oh, cool.
Then you can pick out a shape, a bowl shape or whatever shape it might be, and you put it back in the kiln once it's fused, and it slumps into a usable shape so you can use these things.
That's cool. And what's it cost to be in a class like this?
Well, the fusing is $65 an hour, and the flame working is $65 an hour, and I believe... I can't quote it because I'm the founder, but I don't. No. The glass blowing is more.
You're the visionary.
Yeah, the glass blowing is more.
You also mentioned to me corporate retreats that corporations can bring in.
Oh, yes.
Corporate retreats, which to me also is really cool because this area is exploding in corporations, new companies, and lots of young employees.
Yes.
So how does that work with a corporate kind of retreat? What do? They just book their own time with you?
Yes. We have 30 scheduled from the PNC Private Banking that are going to be coming in. 30. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them each do glass blowing, but instead of them sitting and waiting their turn, they're going to be able to go in and do some flame working. They're going to be able to experience fusing, see what that's all about.
Keep them moving.
Yeah, and keep them occupied and moving. 30 is a large number. These are team building events, and it's loads of fun for the team.
And hopefully you're compensated well so that you can continue to support your bottom line, which is important. So to me, so you've got a great vision here. You've got 11 years left on your lease, and this is an asset for the city of Lake Worth Beach.
Yes.
It's a destination. It's a tourist destination. And it's been, when I first met you many months ago, I thought this is the world's best kept secret. And I want that secret to just kind of go away. I want people to know about it so that you're flooded with people so that you've got to do timed entrances or something like they do with the Met or whatever.
A problem to really welcome them.
As they call it, a high-class problem, right?
Yes.
So people can make donations. Corporations make donations. Do you have annual memberships or how is it?
The one thing about corporations that they can also do is sponsor programs.
Right. Okay. Good.
And I have to say that with the visiting artists, we do a Meet the Artist dinner the night before the blowout, which is a Thursday night. And it's a lovely affair. It's a sit-down dinner within our beautiful gallery, very elegant, where you get to meet the artist, and he gives a short lecture, and then there's questions and answer period. And it is something, I think, for corporation, a great thing to bring your high-end clients to. It's something unique and different. It's very elegant. So the sponsorships that we have for our visiting artist programming is, in my opinion, a big bang for the buck. And your name is on our website. So you get a lot of bang for it.
So as far as infrastructure, you've got a board of directors. How many employees do you have?
We have 16.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot. You built this from 0 to 16 in 9 years.
Yeah, and we in the last couple of years, we built our staff up, which has really helped a lot.
And you stayed open through COVID, so you kept hopefully gaining some revenue and some support and things like that. You can always use more support. That's for sure. You always can. So when you think about this, Joanne, and I'm so grateful to have you here today. Thank you for doing this. And I'm even more grateful, honestly, for our region. And, I care about Palm Beach. And I think of Palm Beach, yes, it's an island, but I see it as a region. It's a region, it's a lifestyle. To have a center like yours, the Benzaiten Center, with such unique pieces of art and technique and education and product. It's product. Let's call it product. You're an artist, but when you were painting and sculpting, it's product when you talk to the regular person. It's magical. It's magical. And if people want to find out more about the Benzaiten Center, what's the website?
Benzaitencenter.org.
Spell it.
BENZAITEN.
.org. And you go to the website, they can get a hold of you. They can send emails. They can find out more. There's a phone number on the website, I'm sure, and a list of upcoming activities and things like that. And it's part of what makes the Palm Beaches the Palm Beaches. So,
and
Joanne,
one thing I do want to mention, we do so much for children. I mean, that's part of our mission as a nonprofit.
When you say children, how little?
We can start them very young with some simple things, so it's anywhere from, let's say, 6 to young adults.
It's what's nice about that, Joanne, is it really also, when you get a young person involved in the arts when they're little, they have no predisposed notion about whether it's good or bad or sissy or whatever kind of a thing. It's pure. It's like teaching a young person to do glass, to paint, to draw, to dance, to play an instrument, to do whatever. So I applaud you for getting young people involved, and it's amazing. So benzaitencenter.org, Joanne Berkow, who is the genius, the goddess, the brain behind all this kind of stuff. Thank you for being here today. You're listening to your Palm Beach guide, Doug Evans, President and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, where I always believe no matter whether it's liquid sunshine like it might be today or whatever, it's always a beautiful day on the Palm Beaches. Joanne, thank you for being a chamber member. Thank you for being a trustee. Thank you for being a visionary. And thank you for founding and bringing us the Benzaiten Center.
Thank you, Doug.
Make it a great day. Doug Evans and your guide to Palm Beach.